The Roaring Twenties are almost back again. So let's take a look at the decade just gone.
Oh, that was cute.
In La Liga. Can you do the Charleston?
No, I do not have that in me. I have other things, but I don't have the Charleston in me.
Oh, well, show me something else later. Okay. So you've picked your team of the decade for 2010 to 2020.
Correct.
From La Liga.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's take a look.
Okay. Well, do you have a problem? Are you okay? Or
No, I'm just sizing it up. Just sizing it up. You talk us through it.
Well, Keylor Navas, perhaps underappreciated at Madrid, perhaps underappreciated around the world, not underappreciated in my book. And since it's my team, then well, there so be it. He's in. For whatever reason, for as long as Keylor Navas was the starter of Real Madrid, there was conversation. Is De Gea coming? Is Courtois coming? Is that guy coming? Is the other guy coming? How about the guy that you have there? He's pretty damn good. How about you keep that guy? And for the time that he was at Real Madrid, not only was he good in Champions League, but he was good in La Liga. He was a critical part of whatever success Real Madrid had. Keylor Navas, underappreciated in some areas, and certainly not for me.
Jan Oblak not in the figuring for you?
Yeah, he was in the figuring, but not enough success for Atletico Madrid. And so you have to look at results. And when you go and look at results, Keylor Navas is at the forefront of everything that I think was important for Real Madrid.
Can't argue with that at all.
Okay.
Your backline is extremely strong.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about PK?
You can ask me about Piqué, and that was perhaps the toughest choice that I had to make. And you may think, well, maybe it was Godin or Piqué that I was leaning on. Nope. It was Ramos or Piqué that I was leaning. Godin was always going to be a player there because I thought Atletico Madrid in winning La Liga, if I thought of a player that embodied what Atletico Madrid was that year, that whole year, it was Diego Godin. And so for me, he was always going to be the starter, and what a starter he would be for that team. Ramos and Piqué was really the tough one. For a long period of time, I was thinking Piqué. But you cannot deny the moments, the important moments, key moments that Sergio Ramos has had for Real Madrid over the last decade. It's impossible to ignore. Now, some people would say, the purists, if you will, would say, well, those big moments were in the attacking box, in the attacking half. Those were important goals. Well, but they count, don't they? They made a difference, didn't they? And so I have to believe that just enough Sergio Ramos, just ahead of Piqué, simply because of those moments that we think of with Sergio Ramos and the important goals that he was able to score for Real Madrid. Again, in key moments, in moments that made a difference and were points of inflection for the club, I do think that Sergio Ramos was just a tiny bit superior to Piqué. Love me some Piqué, but that was the toughest decision.
Can't argue at all with your front three, of course.
Well, I hope not.
No, Suarez leading the line with Ronaldo and Messi. In midfield,
Yeah.
it's a very Barcelona
Yes.
midfield.
You have an issue with that.
No, but just tell me, I mean, is that down to the fact that the collective was so good, or are you looking at each individual position and saying, these guys are unbeatable on their own?
Each and every one of these guys, at one point over the decade, were the best player, not only in La Liga, but the best player in the world in that position. Together, they happen to be 2011 Barcelona. If you go back to 2011 Barcelona, that was perhaps the most dominant and best team we have seen in club football and in Champions League ever. In the history of ever that I can ever remember is the dominance of that team. And at the very core of that team, while you can take a look at Messi if you so desire, and rightfully so, the real key to the success of the team was in that midfield. And it's a midfield that went together and playing at their very best. They simply kept the ball, and good luck in trying to get it. Busquets dominating the pace of the game, Xavi with intelligence and his movement and his ability to find spaces, and then Iniesta, who in tight spaces can do whatever he wants and doesn't even break a sweat doing it. The combination of the three made Barcelona special, historic. Now, individually, each of them belong in this team as well. So I looked at other Real Madrid players. I looked at Atletico Madrid players, and that's where I stopped because I wasn't about to look at some other guys because none of the other guys were going to be better than this. But the Real Madrid players didn't quite match up to the level that these guys achieved. And the Atletico Madrid players, as much as they were very defensively stout and tough and physical and all that, they did not quite match up the ability offensively that these guys can give you. These three midfielders for Barcelona changed the dynamic of the game, the way the game was played, the way that we perceive the game. When you do that, then you're going to be in a team of the decade. Simple as that.
So many of these players will go down as all-time greats, not just of La Liga, but in football.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same story for the next 10 years, is it? Given where we're at the moment in terms of where La Liga is positioned.
Well, why you gotta be so negative? Well, what do you want me to do now? You want me to stop watching?
I want you to sell me La Liga. I want you to sell me that the next 10 years are going to be full of excitement and we're going to see the likes of these types of players again.
Well, see, then you go back to the last decade, where Valencia was winning titles, for example, and then people might have said, well, it's just a downtime for Barcelona and Real Madrid. I wonder if they're ever going to come back. Well, guess what? Good players are going to come about. Is it going to be Messi against Ronaldo? Well, no. That time is gone. But if you get fixated on that, then good luck, because you're not going to be able to move on. What I would say is, let it go. It's gone. It's done with. Messi, Ronaldo, done with. It's not happening, and we're not going to have generational talents that will match up like that in a decade or two. And so, for me, it's as simple as understanding that teams like Barcelona, like Real Madrid, will go and get the best players available. And once those players are part of these teams, if they're able to perform at a high level, then we'll continue to have this sort of teams that look like this. Ronaldo and Messi are generational talent. They are once in a lifetime sort of thing. We happen to be fortunate enough to have two of them in a lifetime. And yet we're considering and concerning ourselves with, well, what's going to happen next decade? You know what?
That was just me. It's not anyone else.
Well, then you got to sort yourself out. I need you to be a little bit more positive and optimistic. It's all right. They'll find the best players that are available. They'll play in La Liga, and we'll be having this discussion some other time.
I love it. Let's look to the future.
Yeah.
It's only just begun.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.